stage of business you're in. This podcast will help you do just that. Learn about doing your bookkeeping yourself, outsourcing your bookkeeping successfully to a professional, and understanding your numbers and the story they're telling. We can avoid the overwhelm and continue creating a business we love to run. Welcome back to the podcast. If you are new around here, my name is Lydia Miller, and I want to help you analyze and understand the financial numbers in your business so that you can grow and create more profit. And typically on this podcast, that's what I talk about. I talk about knowing your numbers, ways you can outsource them so that you can just focus on analyzing, how I can help you analyze them, and so on and so forth. But today I want to talk about a book that I read recently. It's called Secrets of Six-Figure Women by Barbara Stanny. Now, my daughter Kezia was born Thanksgiving Day, which was about 6 weeks ago. And I have been on maternity leave around the house, not doing a whole lot. And I have watched way too much TV, and I've gotten to the point where I had to do something different because I watched a lot of TV, mainly Shark Tank, which is, I've learned a lot, but I was ready to do something different. So I started picking up some of the books that I have laying around the house because as an entrepreneur, I'm always wanting to learn something new. So I'm always buying books, I feel like, from Amazon. And so my goal for 2020 is to not actually buy any new books, even though dadgummit, I just bought a book today, but to finish the books on my shelf. So clearly that resolution did not stick, and it's, the 11th of January right now. So that's fine. But my goal is to actually read the books that are on my shelf. Maybe that's where I should make it. And this one has been on my shelf for a while. It was recommended by another podcaster that I listened to. She said that she read this book and it really changed her mindset on a lot of things and helped her with just some of the goals that she had to earn more money and to make more money in her own business. I don't know if necessarily her goal was to earn six figures, but I think a lot of the things in this book she was really looking for. So I want to talk about a few of my takeaways from this book, and it's a definite recommendation that I would give to anybody who wants to make six figures or really just wants to learn how to get in the game better. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. So first off, the overview of the book, and my overall review is that it's a really excellent read. It's pretty it's not a short book by any means. It's, a little over 200 pages. But if you are like me and you've read a lot of different books on personal development and mindset and things like that, basically you're going to get a clip of all of those books in this book right here. A lot of the things that she talked about and a lot of the sections, I've read several other books that deep dive into those things. So if you just want kind of a overview on personal development, this book would be excellent for that. And then if there's a topic in this book that you really want to work on, there's a lot of books out there that you can get to focus on the different areas. So as you're starting 2020, if you're trying to figure out, just any personal development or trying to change your mindset or do better this year than you did last year, I would start by reading this book, figuring out the areas that really resonate with you or that just make you uncomfortable because you're not great at those areas, and then finding books based on that. But this is a great place to start. So let's go through the first couple things that I learned. Let me start by reading the back because this is going to give you a really good overview of the book. This is part of the second paragraph. It says, in Secrets of Six-Figure Women, Barbara Stanny, journalist, motivational speaker, and financial educator, identifies the 7 key strategies of female high earners. 1, a profit motive. 2, audacity. 3, resilience. 4, encouragement. 5, self-awareness. 6, non-attachment. And 7, financial know-how. So those are the really key areas that she talked about. She talked, a lot about mindset in the beginning, and then she moved into the different chapters based on that. So the first thing that really stuck out to me, I'm going to read different passages from the book just to give you guys an idea of this. She gives more detail on that on page 78 and 79, the profit motive, audacity, so on and so forth. And those are really the building blocks around, I think, a lot of successful women as well, even in business, a profit motive, while, as Christians, the Bible says not to love money. I don't think it's wrong to be motivated to make a profit in your business, because if you don't have a profit, then you do not have a business. So you don't have to love money and be wrong, in that way, and have money control your life to have a profit motive. The second one is audacity. It says every woman I interviewed came to a point where she had to step outside her comfort zone and do something she wasn't completely sure she could do. It was rarely an experience she relished, nor did she always succeed, but she worked up the moxie to make the effort. And that is so true. I think for me personally, the last couple of years, that has been an area that I've struggled with, is just coming to the point where I was willing to be outside my comfort zone for time after time again. A lot of that for me was networking and just getting out and meeting people, because I'm definitely more of an introvert. And when I started my business, I thought I was just going to sit at home and be by myself and be introverted and be happy all the time and, still talk to people at some point, but, not have to really get out of my comfort zone too much. And that's totally not the case. So, just that audacity and being able to get out there and get outside your comfort zone. Resilience, getting back up when you fall down, and you're gonna fall down at some point. I've learned that for sure in business too, but you have to get up at some point. You have to be able to pick yourself up. Encouragement, you have people around you that support you. You have friends that support you. You have mentors in business and in your personal life, and you have a spouse that supports you, and those things are incredibly important as well, which thankfully I have those things. I know not a lot of people do, but that is extremely important. If you don't have someone encouraging you, you definitely need to find them. And then self-awareness, you need to know what you're good at. You need to know your skills. You need to know your weak spots. You need to know the things that you're working on. Non-attachment, you need to let go of things that aren't working and that are holding you back. And you need to have the self-awareness to know all of that. So that all kind of ties in together. And the financial know-how, which I was really excited that she talked about this a lot, understanding money, how it works, understanding where your money's going. All of that is really, really important. So that's kind of the overview of this book. And then she goes really into detail on a lot of these things. Okay, the next thing that I want to touch on, and I touched on it a little bit, is just the audacity part and just jumping in. And this is from chapter 6, which is called Strategy Number 3, Get in the Game. And this is going to be on page 132. So it says rule number 2, jump in, ready or not. There is only one way to join the high earning game. You jump right in. You set your intention, let go of the ledge, and just start anywhere. It really makes no difference where you begin as long as you're playing in the game to win. Nor does it matter how gracefully you enter. Each woman I spoke to made the leap in her own unique way, some more calculated than others. And I want to encourage you to jump in the game this year in 2020, to jump into where you are and what you want to do. If you are struggling, telling people what you do, posting on social media or just talking to people about what you do, just jump in and start. Like, you don't have to have it perfect or nailed down entirely to just start and figure out along the way. If you need to go to in-person meetings, just go. Like, I have started going to those, and do I have business cards with my updated information on there? No. Do I have everything perfect on my website? No. Do I have everything, how I would want it to be? No. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to jump in, and you have to figure it out along the way, and you have to decide, like, this is what I want to do, and you have to just start making it happen. So I would encourage you to jump in this year in 2020, wherever you are, and to keep going for sure. So that was probably the biggest kick in the pants I got from this book, was just to jump in, ready or not. And you really have to do that. You can't just sit around and wait, and you can't just sit around for people to invite you. You can't just sit around and not do anything. You really have to go out and make it happen. So that I really needed that this year as I was reading it. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the last secret is that they have the financial know-how. So let me read another part of this, which I think is going to be really important, especially on this podcast where I'm talking about knowing your numbers, understanding what's going on, that kind of thing. This is on page 229, and it says, wealth building women make it a point to participate in financial decisions from a place of knowledge, not fear, ignorance, or habit. Although they are extremely busy, they find ways to stay informed. This is what I hear a lot from women who have a business or who run a business with somebody else, or their husband is involved, especially if their husband's involved. They say, oh, he does the numbers, I just do da 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 da. Or people will come to me and say, I just want to outsource someone else knowing all of the financial information of my business and them just tell me what to do and I don't have to know anything else. Friend, that is terrible. Like, you cannot outsource understanding your numbers. You cannot outsource knowing what things are. That I was watching Shark Tank, and that's one of the things that Robert Herjavec said was to an entrepreneur who basically said that they didn't know their numbers. It was someone else's job in their business, but they were just there because they loved what they did. And he said, yes, I understand you love that, but you can't outsource knowing the information. You can outsource the doing of the information. You can outsource the bookkeeping, the tax return, kind of more of the tactical things. You can outsource a lot of that, but you can never outsource knowing your numbers and knowing where you're at and knowing what you need to do and having those goals set. It's just not something that you can do and be successful. And I was really excited that she pointed that out in this book and that she did a lot of research and it showed that it's true. So if you are thinking, man, I need to do that, I need to understand my numbers, I would encourage you to just jump in this year and figure out what you need to learn and what you need, where your knowledge is and where you want it to be, and start making steps towards that as well. I can definitely help you out with that if you want to do a Know Your Number session where we go through your numbers and I kind of teach you what to look for every month and how to analyze and the questions to ask yourself and what you need to do to grow. I can definitely help you out with that. So that would be one of the other big things in this book. Now, the next part that I want to read is, let me find it on the page. Okay. So this is around kind of some money mindset things. And this is kind of the last thing that I want to touch on in this book. Again, definitely read the entire thing. I would have to read the whole book if I wanted to give you my entire takeaway because it was so good. But let me read this last part. It's talking about your money and, I'll just go from here. My interviews with savvy women for my last book showed me how much you can learn by talking to smart people. The interviews for this book only confirmed it. To this day, every time I meet anyone who knows anything about finances, I'll pick his or her brain, asking questions like, how do you manage your money? What have you learned? What advice can you give me? P.S. I have a whole blog series that I decided to do before I read this book called Know Your Numbers. It comes out every Wednesday, and I'm basically picking the brains of women who know their numbers in their business and what they're doing to share with y'all. Okay, continuing on. It says, but as you already know, talking about money is not always easy. For some of us, it's embarrassing. We feel too dumb, too poor, too rich, too something. For many, money is still a taboo topic. Nice girls don't talk about money, our mothers warned us. That warning is rubbish and should be discarded immediately. Our silence around money is what keeps us stuck, and it's not just practical information we should be seeking. We also need to talk about our personal issues around money. It's deeply comforting and extremely instructive to share individual struggles and to vent fears and frustrations. That is important as well, because I'm talking to people and I'm finding that a lot of women are not comfortable talking about money, or they don't want to give too much away, or they don't want to seem, like she said, too rich, too poor, whatever it is. And I think that's really important to know, is that you're not alone in that, and that you can talk to people, and that if you want to earn more and if you want to do better with your money, then you're going to need to talk about it. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, if you want, that's with anything in life. If you're overweight and if you're embarrassed about that, you have to go talk to a doctor. Like, you have to go talk to a dietitian or, a nutritionist or somebody. And, they're going to ask you the hard questions like, how much do you weigh? How much are you eating? How much water do you drink? What are your eating habits? Like, why are you eating so much? And, what's your emotional state behind it? And those are going to be extremely uncomfortable questions for that. if there's any area in your life that you're trying to improve upon that you know needs work, you're going to have to answer the tough questions, and your money is no different, and understanding it is no different either. So I just want to encourage you guys with that you are not alone. And again, if you need someone to talk to about your money, if you just need to vent out your frustrations with it, or if you don't understand what's going on with your finances, or if you have too much, too little, and you're trying to get a grasp on it all, I want to help you guys. I want to listen. I want to help you figure out your goals and how to make that happen in 2020. Again, I have the Know Your Numbers sessions that are available. If you are listening in real time, this is January 2020. I am running a special where the sessions are $97 and instead of the $249. And with that, you will get a worksheet to go through every month. I'll walk through it with you of what questions to ask. I'll ask you some other questions around your money, and you can look at your numbers every month. If you want to go through your numbers with me every month, I'm totally down to do that. If you want to book through the rest of the entire year at the $97 price, where every month we sit down together. If you're local to Pensacola, we can do it in person. If you want to do it via Zoom because you're somewhere else in the country, we can do that as well. And just go through your numbers and find out where you're at and how you did. And are you meeting your revenue goals? Are you meeting your profit goals? How can you cut your expenses? Are you charging enough? Are you spending your time wisely? What product is bringing in the most money and the most profit in your business? What should you be focusing on? All of those things, if you want to grow and make 6 figures, or even make 5 figures, or however much you want to make, whatever your goal is, we can sit down together and figure those things out. So again, this book is called Secrets of Six-Figure Women by Barbara Stanny. I would highly recommend you read that this month. I got my copy off of Amazon. I'm sure you can get it there as well. And like I said, my personal biggest takeaway was just jump in the game and just jump in right where you are, figure it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, exactly what you think it's going to be. You just need to jump in and make things happen. So I would highly recommend you read this book. If you have read this book before and you want to share your thoughts with me or your personal takeaways, you can email me, lydia@dacbalance.com, and I will respond personally. If you want to leave a comment on my Instagram is at lydia.miller.mba, and I would love to hear your feedback on this book. So until next time, go and make it happen.